Okay, so hopefully this goes over well, and I can explain this quickly and effectively. Um, I want to explain something first here. So, um, one of the reasons why I'm gonna maybe post less on here and maybe offer more of a live analysis thread is because of this. Um, so I did have a comment removed. I can show this on here because, well, to be honest, this is my channel. I can show whatever I want. I'm not sure that I agree with what the administrations did. The site is chess.com club learn play grow, and this is what I said. You can read it if you like. I'll keep it up for a few seconds. Basically, it was just a friendly poke and prod, and people got insulted, probably turned me in, and they deleted it for that. I'm not really much on cancel culture. So with that being said, let's move to the reason that I am doing this, and that is this comment here. I don't have to really go over it very much, which is based on this position. And I'm going to go through the analysis, and then I'm going to go through real quick as to what was the problem. I wanted to do a step-by-step, but my reasonings for recording a video is because when I type, I'm dyslexic, and sometimes my dyslexia shows in through my typing. I read very well because I've trained myself to read well, but my dyslexia tends to really bog me down. So sometimes it's hard for me to type. So I'm going to go over this relatively quickly. So the question here, let's see. The question here is right here. So it's a good move. What I said was it's a normal move, classified as a first candidate move, not even remotely brilliant. So what I did was I guessed at what the opening was, which it might not be accurate, but let's pretend like the players are, let's say 500 to 800, or maybe 500 to 900. And you could kind of guess where the moves would be played according to the level of player. You can say hi if you want.
Hello, YouTube.
But these are kind of logical moves that a 500 to an 800 player might play. And like, for example, knight f6 is okay. The pawn comes up and blocks in the bishop, of course. Knight g5 might be played. And then queen e7 would be played, and then let's say white forgets that he could actually take. So this would be a logical move for a 500 to 800 player. And then knight c3 comes because he wants to bring in another piece, which is also logical. Maybe he wants to defend the e4 pawn before he tries to take. I don't know, but it's logical for this level of play. Okay, so now let's say he wanted to defend this more, so he plays here. And then bishop takes and pawn takes. So this is the setup for the position that's coming. And as the pawn takes, he doesn't see it quite yet that he could take. This is my guess of the level of play that we're looking at. And then knight g5 to threaten here, because he's actually got a plan of doing something that does work. And then h6 at this point, which sets up the exact position. And then knight takes e6, and we're at the point that we're discussing. So here is my comment. It's a normal candidate move, classified as a first candidate move, not even remotely brilliant. Okay, so if we go back, that's referring to this move here. And the reason why is because when you come back here, he could have done this a while back. So like here, when he played queen here, he could have taken, right? And then when the rook moves, he could have even taken here, and it would have been pretty cool. Or he could have moved back, forced the rook to move back, and then he just basically wins a pawn. However, when he goes forward, comes up, this is a first candidate move, right? And then this is actually a first candidate move as well. It's actually really good. So when black defends this, he should defend it. When black defends this, he could play castle, for example. Okay. And that would defend it really well. So I just want to make sure I get everything right. And when he played h6, which I'm assuming was the last move to promote going here, he effectively locked in the knight. So the knight either has to go this way or he has to go this way. Now when he takes, what I'm referring to is this. So at this point, black is up a pawn, and this is where the computer said this is a brilliant move because it wins a pawn. And now that I'm looking at it with my own eyes and computer, because what I did was I looked at it on my cell phone while I was at work, and sometimes I do that and I make like quick comments. Now that I look at it, it's actually not as bad as I thought, right? So when I was looking at this, what I saw was after here, the reply was right here. Right here. So the reply was, it's a good move. Black has to defend check at c7, so rook c8, d3, a6, knight b takes c3. Okay, so here's another reason why it's good that I'm making a video. The reply was, when I said it, was that the knight is effectively trapped, which technically is true. Okay, when he plays rook c8, I asked why d3, because that was the original move, was the suggested d3. So I said, why d3 when after rook c8, queen can just take? So it takes. Where is the check that wins the queen? He can just take the knight. And then he said in the next post, sorry, c3, not d3. The idea is to push d4 and protect c3 to free up the bishop at c1, create some pressure on the so this is a good idea. So what the question is why not c3? And then my question is, why not just take? And so on d3, on both d3 and c3, why not just take? What is stopping black from taking this knight? So before when he played here, if he took the knight, then this happens, and you get a royal fork, like a true royal fork. And I know that the guy that I'm talking to understands this. So with that being said, at this point, he's right. He can defend here. But then this knight, since this is defended, this knight is now threatened and free. So when he plays here, why not queen takes e6? Now, here's where I made a mistake. I thought when I was looking at this, I was looking at it wrong because it was on my cell phone for some reason, and I was at work, and sometimes I can't see little pieces. So when I was looking at it, I wasn't looking at it right. I didn't notice that the knight can take bishop. That's my error. So let's pretend like the knight can't take the bishop. Okay. If we were to play something, if we were to save this knight and not play d3 or c3, the knight can go here and you win a pawn. This is where the computer says you can win a pawn. Now, what if that bishop isn't there and I can't take it, but I still can't take this pawn? Like the queen's there, the bishop's just not there, but it's still the same material problem. My point was that the knight is trapped. Okay, so what does that knight do? The best move, if you can't take the bishop, is to play knight takes e6. So, I'm sorry that I have to do it this way. I actually am thinking about making a few, what do you call it? Series where I base it on this site here, because one of the things that I'm thinking is that sometimes lately the conversations have been getting way better, right? I've been every time I see a brilliant post where it has no meat whatsoever, where it's just brilliancy, and they go, why is it brilliant? I block them. And it's because it has no meat, they're just showing off. Now, lately, I've been seeing moves where the brilliancy looks like it's computer generated. I will comment on those and then I'll block them. And now that I have done that for the last, I don't know, let's say week, the brilliancies have been getting better. Now, this one is the best one that I've seen so far. And it sparked a conversation like this and several conversations as well. And so I figured if I can produce conversations like this in this site, it's worth it to make a series based off of these conversations. And then the other idea that I had was that, real quick before I end this, this one here that just popped up right here, I offered to analyze 5 games, giving principles for this guy. I told him that if he produces 5 games for me, I'll give him 5 principles. So again, I think that's a good idea, and I might create a series based on that. I'll just put the principles into one video and then shut the video down. Be something like a 10 to 20 minute video, and it'll give whatever it is that I'm recommending. So I figured that would be a good way to do it. I might even make it right now. If he's got the 5 games, I might make it right now and then post it, and then whoever wants to look at it can look at it. But this should cover everything. So the main thing is that the winning of the pawn part is the fact that once you get to this position, the knight can take the bishop. So knight takes bishop. Let's say rook takes bishop, and now white is up a pawn. The problem with the move, like I said, is either d3 or c3. The queen at this position can play rook takes. Okay, so I needed to correct myself here as well as explain what I mean with the position. And video is way faster. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments, I'm going to post this in a comment, and then I'm going to also offer it to you in a private message. I'm going to do the same thing for the other fellow. This is kind of a way for me to try to get subscribers, but you know, it's an innocent plug. You know, I want to get popular. But I mean, it's not like I'm actually breaking rules. There is a no advertising rule, but I'm doing a service in order to get my name out. And really, isn't that what you're doing when you're posting in these things? Okay, well, that's it on this one, and I hope it wasn't too long, and I hope that I made sense. Thank you.